such a big deal for crypto holders, XRP holders. And what's so ironic is I tend to think that there's actually a lot of crypto holders out there. Maybe you're one of them that has actually not even been paying attention to what's going on. I can't help but pay attention. Let me lay some groundwork, and I'm going to show you just some really important clips from John Deaton, who was at the hearing today, and we're going to dig into the big news. Today is a remedies hearing in the SEC versus LBRY case. The SEC wants the judge to issue a broad, vague injunction against the sale of the LBRY token, in which the token itself becomes the security. So I came across a comment that just kind of explains this in a different perspective, but that's Jeremy Hogan following the case closely. The SEC wants to have the tokens themselves implied to be implicitly securities by omission of any statement to the contrary from the judge. The judge asked SEC to provide the clarity. They refused. LBRY complained, and here we are with this meeting tomorrow. So this was yesterday. The meeting is done now. It's happened, and we have some big news coming out. Now, the reason why it's big, I'm going to show you a clip in just a minute. If the judge rules that secondary market transactions of LBC by people unaffiliated with or have no investment intent in LBRY.com are legal, it could set a precedent that would be favorable towards XRP users. So in the similar fashion, I've been talking about how the Ripple case could potentially just ignite something really special in the crypto space because of the precedent that is set there. LBRY, same exact type of deal, right? So that's kind of what's happening. But I want to show you just some things that have taken place in regards to the hearing today. Check this out. So we're going to look at John Deaton doing work today in this hearing, but I want to just mention XRP, Ripple, it was brought up very briefly, but John explained how he couldn't really step in too much since he's not there representing Ripple or anything. He couldn't really step in too much and say too much about it, but the case itself so important. So let's check this out.
But then I said to him, Judge, great, you're not going to give an injunction, but you still please have to address this secondary market issue.
So he's pointing out to the judge there's a secondary market issue, not just for LBRY, but for the entire cryptocurrency space, trying to get some answers. And check out, he tells a little bit of a story about what the judge did next.
And the judge did something great. He said, let's use an example. And he said, LBRY sold to an investment club who took the LBC and put it in cold storage, a direct sell. The judge said, I found that to be an unregistered securities offering.
So we got that. Judge laying some groundwork, some context, but check out what he says next.
Then the judge said, but if Flipside sells it to someone else in the secondary market, independent of LBRY, you got to agree that that's not, my order doesn't apply to that scenario. And that's the victory that we got. The SEC had to concede that on the record in real time.
So a few minutes later, he went on to kind of re-clarify what was said. The judge actually clarifies. Check this out real quick.
Then he looked at me and said, Amicus, he goes, I'm going to make it clear that my order does not apply to secondary market sales. He goes, so that should satisfy you, right? And I stood up and I said, great. I go, if you would consider some language about how the token itself is not a security. And he smiled and said, well, I'm a minimalist. And so he left it open there. But when you think about it, if he's saying that secondary market sales aren't a play, then the token itself can't be a security. If the token itself is a security, then that means whenever it's sold, it would be a security.
So there we have it, everybody. To put it very simply, Jeremy Hogan tweeted, first word from the SEC versus LBRY hearing, the SEC admitted on the record that the token itself is not a security. Good job, Mr. Deaton. Deaton just, like I said, doing work. And this is the type of thing, everybody. I have so much gratitude and respect for people in the crypto community that have the influence and the knowledge to kind of get clarity, to kind of hold people and situations accountable so that we can move forward in this space. John Deaton doing just that in what you just saw. And there were other things discussed in the video. I'll put a link in the description below, but check it out. You know, other things discussed, Ripple, or I'm sorry, not Ripple, but the SEC trying to go after LBRY a little bit with the judge, throwing LBRY under the bus a little bit, bringing up this tweet. And John Deaton explains how they brought up this tweet where they said, we cannot emphasize enough how important it is to obscure your activity from U.S. regulatory agencies. They're frustrated here, right? And interestingly enough, John Deaton explained how the judge basically said, listen, there was blood, sweat, and tears poured into this, people losing their jobs, and it seems they are frustrated, right? So it seems like it's been a fair day and some, I think, good big news coming out of all of it. But again, I'll put the link in the description. You can watch the whole thing. I just wanted to kind of give a roundabout summary of what happened, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out and what it means for XRP holders and the rest of crypto. And please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, everybody. What do you think about this news? Have you been following it? I appreciate you watching. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.